Hey everybody, what is going on? So for this video, we're going to be looking at Council of Blood, and Heroic of Castle Nathria, and this is an interesting fight because it's a single target prio, because there's three bosses, but each of them are going to heal whenever you kill one of them, so they heal up to full health. And we've had fights like this quite often in the past. We normally get like at least one per expansion, or I guess like sometimes one a tier or whatever, but and it's an interesting fight from a perspective of Pharaoh, like trying to design your build. But basically, again, I'm using Apex Predator here. And then I want to use Sabertooth because there's not really tons of stuff dying regularly. You probably could opt for Predator here, but I think I ended up just going with Sabertooth, and I'm fine with that decision for now. Maybe in future I could look to use Predator for it, but I go Sabertooth, I go Soul of the Forest, I go Primal Wrath instead of Brutal Slash, and I'll kind of get into more of that in a second, and then I go Blood Talons, because I'm going to be able to proc my Blood Talons quite easily. I'm going to be swiping, I'm going to be raking, and potentially like thrashing or shredding at times when I can. So Blood Talons will be fine to proc. But what I do is I'm using Primal Wrath because even though I can't do any damage, or the damage that I do to the two bosses that aren't the focus target, even though I can't, the damage to them doesn't really matter. If I can apply 3 rips instead of 1, that means that my Apex Predator is getting way more value, which means I'm getting way more ferocious bite procs to funnel damage into this primary target. So that's what I'm going to opt to do here. So let's kind of get into this one, but we'll see how we end up doing. So we start on Baroness Frida here. So I'm going to pop Berserk quite early, I believe, and then I'm doing my normal Berserk rotation. I'm building up to 5 combo points, and then I'm just blasting with a Primal Wrath there, and then I'm going to Convoke when when Tiger's Fury is just about to fall off. Perfect. The Attendant goes down, and I get that extended Tiger's Fury window on my Berserk there, and then obviously get my Near's Invigoration stack, so my Mastery goes absolutely bonkers there. And then, like I say, I'm only raking this primary target because the rest of the mobs don't matter. There's no point raking them. It's not going to give anything to me. It's just going to be wasted energy. But I am swiping here. I'm swiping and Primal Wrathing to swiping for more combo point procs. Better combo point generation, because hopefully Swipe is going to crit on 3 targets in a better or like more regularly than Shred will. And then I'm just looking to maintain Primal Wrath and then Ferocious Bite whenever I feasibly can, and looking obviously to proc my Blood Talons there. Now we go into like the little bit of the dance stage, which is a bit of a meme. Quite funny. I don't know. This fight is interesting because it's had so many iterations over beta. I don't know if you guys played the beta or were kind of keeping track of it, but this fight had like 6 different remakes, or like 5 remakes or whatever. So like it's seen a few faces or a few licks of paint, I guess. But yeah, so we then resume fighting here with Frida. Because of the way that you have this intermittent fighting, like you kind of just want to get your cooldowns on cooldown, I would say. So I don't think I'm going to look to align my Convoke here with Berserk, though they might line up quite nicely. I can't actually remember what I end up doing here, but we just want to be focusing those attendants down. So apart from your primary boss target, you just need to be focusing on the attendants. You'll notice that we're all positioning inside of the room here because we want to avoid being the target of that frontal charge. And then we have this move out mechanic where you and a partner, this is different on Heroic than it is on Normal. On Normal, you just, that effect, the mechanic just goes on one individual player. But on Heroic, it goes on 2 players that then have to link up together and then move in a synchronized fashion. So you want to make sure that you're like stutter stepping and trying to be very, very careful with your range, like trying to move out to help them as best you can, and try not to get that shitty ground effect on the rest of the group and running it through range and stuff like that. But yeah, you want to be careful of your positioning here. As I've been mentioning, there's the frontal charge, the evasive lunge just there that occurs on the tank. So the tank's doing a really good job to face these out of the raid. I'll be honest, that was a mechanic that took me quite a while to kind of like figure out where it was going to go, and figure out like, the tanks are calling, watch out for charge, and it's like you're trying to figure out exactly where it is, but after a while you kind of just realize like it's just going outside of the raid, so you're all good there. And then now we need to look out for these dances, I believe. I think if you knock into these dances, or if they knock into you, then you get stunned and it hits quite hard. So you can easily get killed from that mechanic. I just narrowly dodged that that frontal charge there from the boss. This is quite a hectic part. I'm low on health. Everyone's dropping. We need like this to phase now, so that we can kind of recoup. We've got Castellan Niklaus is our second kind of prior target here that we're looking at. I do have Berserk available, but I believe I'm saving it for after the phase, especially with all these mobs up here. I'm just primal wrathing all of these and thrashing, swiping, and raking the primary target to generate my blood talent, and then trying to get as many Apex procs as I can. When I actually looked at the damage breakdown of this fight, I believe I had like over 20 Apex procs, but it's hard to know, like it's hard to remember back to each specific pull attempt and try and remember, because this is almost a week ago now that I did this. So kind of difficult to remember exactly where I was at with Apex, but it seemed to be doing okay. In hindsight, I probably would just go Brutal / Sabertooth on this, or potentially even Predator here would be quite good. Like, it does end up getting to a point where you have a lot of mob spawning, and you could get some really good Predator generation here. I'm trying to position in a way, I know that we're going to be moving to the edges here. I'm trying to position in a way that I can Primal Wrath these ads here again. Same thing, right? Same manner. We're trying to position in a way. See how I move into this central position? Try and hit as many of these waiters as I possibly can. And then we're just proccing these ferocious bites here. I can't remember what the mechanic is called for those red circle move out mechanic. I keep meaning to look for it, and then I keep forgetting to look at it. I think it's called Waltz of Blood, right? We'll look in a moment. We'll see if it spawns in 45 seconds. So we really want to finish off Niklaus here, because the longer we're in this phase, right, the longer we're killing this guy, like the more of these stacks we're taking at the side of the screen over here. And I believe that's just like a stacking damage like dot that you're taking. So look, as Niklaus goes down, that gets removed. So you want to like kill these as quickly as possible. You want to try and obviously two-phase these bosses if possible, if your DPS is there. I've kind of like a skewed yeah, so it's called the Waltz of Blood, I believe. Yeah, so you want to, that's a big mechanic that you want to be aware of, and I think that's going to wipe a lot of groups going into this on heroic. Like, this boss is no joke. I think this is going to be the boss on mythic that a lot of people kind of underestimate, as well as Hungering Destroyer. I think Hungering Destroyer is going to be the most overlooked boss in a while. So then there's Dancing of Fools spawns, right? And we need to kill that. We need to kill that, so that then we can get into this area of effect here, like, you know, get out of those dancers there on the floor. They're dancing up a storm. So you want to be careful of those, making sure you've got by killing that mob there, we're then able to have that space to just kind of stand and keep attacking Stavros there and not get killed. But if you don't kill it in time, then it's a wipe, you know. So this fight gets really hectic as time goes on. I wasn't aware of at the time. I think I ended up dying on an attempt. Yeah, I died on one of these attempts, because when you're on this last guy, Lord Stavros, you actually get a slow. The more that you move, the slower, like the more stacks you gain of this reduced movement speed. So you want to be very, very careful, because what happened is I had a lot of stacks of this slow. As you can see, it's stacking up here with these boots. I had a bunch of stacks of this slow, and then the Waltz of Blood came in, and so I'd go to move out to my partner, and I'd go to keep stutter stepping, but I was slowed, so my stutter step wasn't enough. So either just don't move in anticipation for Waltz of Blood, or just like have some kind of speed increase or something so that you can move even during the waltz. But I mean, ideally, you obviously just want to like not be moving too much. Here I go. I move with my partner here. I don't have many stacks of the slowed movement speed, so I'm okay there. And then it's just going to be finishing off this boss now. Probably looking for a big convoke soon. Yeah, so I read Berserk here. This is really nice timing on this boss. So like, this boss is going to die probably about 30 seconds or so after my Berserk, which is really, really good timing. depending on when you kill fights, it can be either really, really good for Feral or really, really bad, depending on, you know, like the length of fight, obviously, depending on when your Berserk is proc. Like, if a mob can die or the boss can die 30 seconds after your Berserk, then you're chilling because you're at your peak damage. So it's really, really good. And there's the kill on Council of Blood. Real clean fight, real good, solid job by the team. And yeah, hopefully that was an interesting take for you guys. Again, if you have any comments, get in down below and throw some likes and whatnot. See you guys in the next one.